On the southern coast of China lie the 400 square miles of Hong Kong, busy, crowded, agitated. Away from the roar of the modern city, across the mountains in the new territories, is the village of Chun and the hamlets linked with it, a farming area for hundreds of years and one of the few places in the world where Chinese traditions still survive. Today, the fertile fields around Chun produce supplies of fresh vegetables for the lucrative Hong Kong market. With few mechanical aids and by constant hard work, the Chinese farmers manage to produce up to 8 crops a year. Chun sits in the middle of its fields, as it has done since it was founded in the late 14th century by a branch of the Dung clan, which still lives there today. Until this century, these powerful clans largely ran the whole area, keeping a fragile and uneasy peace. While vegetables have largely taken over, some rice, the traditional crop, is still produced. The rice is laid out to dry in the sun in front of the old wall built to protect the village against pirates, bandits, and other rival clans. Many houses stand empty now. The families are working in the Chinese restaurants of Europe. Those remaining keep alive their ancient traditions, leaving Chun a kind of living museum of Chinese ritual, a rich field for anthropologists like myself. At New Year, fierce door guards are posted to keep the evil spirits at bay. My friends in the village are the Dung family. Here, Mrs. Dung gives offerings to the ancestors at the family altar. Her son, Deng Hongguai, helped by his little sister, writes the New Year slogans. The lucky sayings, renewed every year, are stuck around the doorway. May we have blessings this dragon year. I visited the Dung family in the days of preparation before their great festival, the Da Jiu. In the center of Chun, this triple roof of tiles marks the most important building of the village. The ancestral hall of the Chun branch of the great Dung clan, built over 400 years ago. The main entrance, zealously guarded by imposing door guards, leads into the outer courtyard. In the inner courtyard, beyond the screen doors, is the altar, and above it are tablets housing the souls of the ancestors who founded the Dung clan. The Dung clan today worship those ancestors as one body of spirit, the focus of their prayers. It's here too, in the ancestral hall, that all the clan's important gatherings have taken place throughout the 400 years. At the time of the New Year, newborn sons are represented by little oil lamps, lit to mark their formal entry into membership of the clan and arranged along the altar below the soul tablets of the 20 generations of ancestors, and then taken back to the family home. In a classroom beside the ancient hall, today's children learn modern subjects, which are slowly but surely changing the old traditional life around them. Once every 10 years, the normal rhythm of village life is broken when Hà holds its great Da Jiu festival. The festival will last for 5 days and 6 nights. Deng Jiufeng, another member of our family, has just come back from Holland. Because the Da Jiu only happens once every 10 years, many of the villagers, like Jiufeng, make the long journey home for the Thanksgiving celebrations.
我哋廈村咧就每10年咧一屆咧就太平清醮，所以咧我哋喺歐洲咁地方做嘢嗰啲華僑咧都好多都翻嚟慶祝下呢個酬謝神恩嘅太平清醮嘅。咁啊，你點知係呢個時間啊？人哋寫信俾你啊，就屋企家裏啲人咧多數寫信。
Their families write and tell them when it's being held, and try to pressure them into returning. Not all can spare the time or afford the cost.
喺度工作啊，冇咁嘅時間翻嚟啦，所以都冇翻嚟。
The preparations begin. Paper lanterns hoisted on bamboo poles stake out the ritual area of the Da Jiu. It's a ceremony to give thanks for 10 years of blessings, a prayer for 10 more years of peace and prosperity, and an exorcism of the souls of the dead, the restless ghosts. Taoist priests chant prayers as the bamboos are planted at the 5 cardinal points of the Chinese compass: north, east, south, west, and center. Chairman of the festival committee, Deng Jion, explains the reasons for holding Da Jiu.
我哋呢個打醮咧，我哋廈村咧，嗰啲太公到而家咧有200幾年歷史。200幾年，就係即係嗰個目的係做乜嘢？我哋個目的咧，嗰啲人咧，即係嗰個心啊，好神心啊，即係紀念下，同時就神心紀念下嗰啲先人啊，以前嗰啲太。 好多對嗰啲太公咁嘅事，咁啊一定要咁樣嘅。如果你冇咁樣做咧，好似嗰個心啊唔安樂咁樣嘅。即係我爸爸以前又交代我，我阿爺又交代我爸爸，咁一路咁過落嚟都係唔做嘅。
In the Chinese religion, only priests can properly worship the gods, pray for blessings, and chant the scriptures. By employing these Taoist priests, all the people of Hà acquire merit. Over 10 months ago, they began to prepare for the festival. They collected £3 from every man, woman and child in Hà for the Da Jiu fund.
打醮一共要使幾多錢？
打醮一共咧就要做咗大約使140萬到140萬。
The enormous hall, constructed entirely of bamboo and rattan, is complete. Now the main altar is dedicated by the Taoist priests. Taoism started as a mystical philosophy, later developing into a popular religion, concentrated on elaborate rituals designed to counteract the worries and dangers of life and death. Only initiated priests know the complicated formulae for addressing the Taoist gods. But men from the village are intimately involved in the ceremonies too. 10 of them have been specially selected to take part alongside the Taoist priests. huge figures of gods and heroes are fashioned from coloured foil and bamboo, specially for the occasion, only to be destroyed when it's all over. I asked the contractor, Wang Geicheng, how long it took to make that figure.
5天至20天
，15天至20天，係，仲只係一個人做，
一個人做係啦。
即係大約即係幾多錢一個？
大約就2500蚊港紙到。
咁多啦。咁呢度有幾多？呢度有兩。
The pair of dragon and tiger great generals cost £500. The pair of lions are called gatcha. That means good luck. The horses represent heroes. Daisi is guardian of the underworld. His job is to make sure that the ghosts of the dead don't trouble the living. A harsh god whose severity is tempered by Gunyam, goddess of mercy, sitting on his chest. Originally an Indian Buddhist nun who attained enlightenment, she remains on earth to guide others towards the right path. Although the Daju is a Taoist ceremony, conducted by Taoist priests, it has elements of Buddhism and other religions mixed with it. On the first day, the villagers set out to gather in all the gods from the Hatun region to the ritual area. Gods of all religions, Buddhist, Taoist, animist. In the hills, there is a Buddhist monastery, founded around 1500 years ago, the Seoul Ferry Monastery. Their Buddha is invited to join in the Daju. Images of the laughing Buddha and the goddess of mercy are given a ceremonial send-off. An even older deity, the animist god, the spirit of the nearby mountain, is invited to join in and enter the red paper tablet bearing his name, which is taken to join the Buddha in the lorry. Several miles away, in another hamlet, the Taoist gods Guangung and Yuntin are also invited to take part in the celebrations. The two gods take their places in the ornately decorated palanquin. It begins its journey in solemn procession, with ritual umbrellas of state and the music of gongs. In the large hamlet of Mongjiangchun, the people give their gods a noisy send-off. Past the fields of winter and through the ceremonial arch, they approach the ritual area. The main hall is richly decorated now. Facing the entrance is another building. Here, the gods are ceremoniously installed in their seats of honor. The gods from every district sit in harmony. Taoist, animist and Buddhist gods, and ancestors too. Deng Sing Dai, one of the 10 villagers chosen to take part in the ritual of the festival. How was he selected?
即係呢，就我哋夠能呢，就年初二啊，就去呢個天后廟呢，就打嘅，打完手啊，咁我哋族裏打完手啊，咁樣啊，咁啊打呢，有好多人條條圍啲藥到都去嘅。
At the temple, they paid homage to the goddess. The divining blocks were thrown to discover whom she had chosen from amongst the candidates.
咁樣先得。都咁能咯，咁樣咯。 第一、第二、第三、第四秒咁能嘅咯，即係咁樣。
She selected 10 of them.
一共先得幾多？一共10萬。
Those who were chosen paid up to £100 for the privilege. Why did you want to be chosen?
即係神心。 神心嗰啲菩薩啊，嗰啲咁嘢啦，係嘛？即係迷信啲咁意思啦。啊，故知呢就10年啊，打個親民太照或者咁樣。
These huge signs carry messages of congratulation to the people of Hatun. Beneath them, the festival committee welcomes honoured guests, including the high government official, who will formally open the festival. From the leader of the chosen 10, the priest takes a sheet of prayers. He recites them and sends them up in flames to heaven. Now it is time for ritual tea offering to establish a formal bond between the priests and the chosen 10. Each Taoist priest goes through a ritual purification, as do the 10 villagers. A windmill and a model of the Eiffel Tower, souvenirs of Amsterdam and Paris, echoes of the Europe that Jiu Fong will return to. But tonight, he sits down to the family festival dinner, strictly vegetarian during Da Jiu. Jiu Fong and his friends leave home in their festival gear. They make their way to the main hall, where a dragon awaits them. Dot the I and touch the tongue of the dragon, and he's brought to life, ready now to join the procession with the Taoist priests and the 10 chosen men. The leader of the dragon dance calls out the names of the villages the dragon will visit. But first, 3 bows to the assembled gods watching from their temporary home. Another dragon sets out from a nearby village. For 3 days of the Dajio, the dragons go off in procession to all the hamlets of the Hatun area. Halted at the head of the procession, the Taoist priests and the chosen 10 pause to pay their respects before the shrine of the earth god. The dragon too pays its respects, bowing 3 times before the local temple. It has been a long day. The dragon and its dancers pause at a hamlet for rest. In the wake of the dragon, a huge procession builds up. More and more villagers join the crowd. A dancing lion joins in. They reach the temple of Tin Hao. Now the dragon, once the symbol of the Imperial House of China, is led up to the temple. He bows to the Empress of Heaven 3 times. Religious duties done, a mood of carnival takes over. The long walk back to Hatun begins for gods and weary men. The dragon, the spirit of rainfall, rivers, lakes, and the vital element of water, leads the procession home. The third day of Dajio is the main day of the festival. One member of each family will worship at the shrine where all the gods have been gathered. Mrs. Dung burns incense and seeks blessings for all her family. The priests, backed by the 10 chosen laymen, pray before Dai Si, guardian of the underworld. The lion dancers appear, closely followed by the dancers of the unicorn. Lion and unicorn greet each other, and so do the committee of the festival and its distinguished visitors. The dragon, now revived, winding his way through the assembled crowd, gets 3 deferential bows from the lion. Another greeting, this time from the dragon to the elders of the clan. 120 men dance the dragon through its intricate and exhausting paces up to the ancestral hall. Inside, the guests sit quietly drinking tea. But the Dung family have found other entertainment, a Cantonese puppet show. There's a sideshow for everyone. For those with less classical tastes, the traditions are shattered by a risque double act. They seem like intruders from another world. The name of every man, woman and child in Hatun has been inscribed on a single enormous list, again by Dung Heung-Guai.
我想問你咧，嗰條龍虎榜啦，係你寫㗎係嘛？
係。
你幾時寫㗎？
都好耐啦，即係早成個月前㗎啦。
成個月前啊？要寫幾耐先寫好㗎？一個月啦，差唔多一個月。一個月。
The organisers liked his handwriting and asked him to take on the mammoth task. It was an honour for him and for the family. It's late afternoon when the villagers start to gather in the dusk outside the ancestral hall, each family carrying a lantern. They wait for the arrival of the list, carried out by 6 men who will paste it up along hundreds of feet of bamboo fence. Each family, with its lantern topped by a burning incense stick, can then light its way to find its own names amongst the 7,000.
呢個貴口，呢個貴肉，呢個照手，呢個貴英啊，睇下讀下啦，OK。
The boys have found the names, but Mrs. Dung is worried that the lantern hasn't been properly blessed. The lantern is taken home to be hung up on the family altar. No major festival such as the Daju would be complete without the traditional Chinese opera. The opera is as much an offering to the watching gods as an entertainment for the crowds. Dai Si, god of the underworld, comes into his own on the last night of Dajio. The Taoist priests preside as the villagers carry the god out to the fields. In a climax to the festival, he is sent back to the underworld, hopefully taking with him the souls of the now pacified dead. Whole roast pigs are offered to the gods. Now that Dai Si has been burned, the strict rule that no meat should be eaten is relaxed. For Mrs. Dung and her neighbours, most of the festivities are now over. But for one Taoist priest, there are still duties to perform. The chosen 10 bring Heng Guai's list of names. The priest must read out once more all the 7,000 names of all the villagers. Still all is not done. There are the final rituals to be performed. Wine is poured and holy water sprinkled over lucky charms, which will be sold to the villagers later. The visiting gods can be taken home now. For them too, the party is over. They will return to the peace and solitude of their quiet temples and shrines. They won't be disturbed again until Da Jiu comes round in 10 years' time. Da Jiu still has meaning and power. The festival has brought the wanderers home from half the major cities of Europe. It has been a celebration of the strength of the Chinese family and of ancient traditions. In another 10 years' time, will the gods and memories be strong enough to bring the wanderers home again? Perhaps. But this year's Da Jiu is over.